Tánaiste, I want to raise with you the matter of the exceptional needs payments, which I understand Minister Joan Burton, in her continuing crusade against families on low incomes, is proposing to cut. The exceptional needs payment is, by definition, a payment made to families in exceptional need, and last year nearly 250,000 such payments were paid out under this scheme. Now, right throughout your programme of austerity and your budget cuts, Minister Burton reassured people that should they find themselves in dire need, that they could always go to their community welfare officer. But now it seems that you're intent on cutting even this safety net. So I want to ask you, Tánaiste, is it the case that the Minister plans to take €8.5 million from some of the poorest families in the state? And can I ask you, where do you suggest that these families go? Do you suggest that they simply go to the St Vincent de Paul? Is this now the approach and policy of government, slashing the basic entitlements of people on low incomes, removing safety nets, washing your hands of responsibility and relying on organisations like the St Vincent de Paul to pick up the pieces?
Thank you, Deputy. Tánaiste.
Under the Supplementary Welfare Allowance Scheme, the Department of Social Protection may make single payments to help meet essential once-off exceptional expenditure which a person could not reasonably be expected to meet out of their weekly income. The Department of Social Protection spent approximately €63 million in these payments last year and made payments to 226 individual claimants. The budget 2012 requires savings of €8.5 million in this area. Now, the exceptional needs payments has been in operation for some time, and there have been guidelines governing the way in which the exceptional needs payments are applied. Those guidelines have not been reviewed since 1995, and Minister Burton is changing those guidelines to reflect the current realities. Among the changes that she is making is looking at the way in which the exceptional needs payments are applied in different parts of the country. Some parts of the country you can get an exceptional needs payment for one type of applicant. In another part of the country it doesn't apply. One area, for example, and I saw it highlighted in some of the newspapers today, relates to the payments which are made for communion and confirmation. There have been last year there were 14,000 such payments made for communion and confirmation purposes, amounting to a total of 3.4 million. It is the view of the Minister, and something I share, that we have seen, I think, over the years, a lot of very lavish expenditure in some cases associated with communions and confirmations. And I know that many parishes and many schools are anxious to try and get the kind of costs that are associated with these events somewhat under control. As a result of that, she has decided, as part of the changes that she's making to the guidelines, to limit those payments in future to €110 in each case. And hopefully that will help to limit the amount of expenditure in areas like that. I should add that there are, as I said, parts of the country, for example, where the application of these payments varies. In Sligo, Leitrim and Donegal, for example, there were only 25 payments made last year in respect of communions and confirmations.
Thank you, Deputy McDonald.
Well, Tánaiste, you say that you put it in terms of changing the guidelines. What you're doing is introducing a cutback. And I think it's worth saying very clearly that it's not just individuals and families on social welfare who avail of these payments. Increasingly, it's the working poor. It's families who find it harder and harder to keep the ship afloat. Whatever your view of communion or confirmation, or indeed any other religious milestone in any citizen's life, a child has to be dressed for that occasion. And you reference those particular payments, but the vast bulk of the exceptional payments relate to a cooker that is needed, a washing machine, very often an energy bill that cannot be paid. And I think it's astonishing the contrast between the expenses that the members of this Dáil claim, 6 million in expenses, some of it unvouched, on the one hand, and then a government who proposes to take 8.5 million out of the pockets and off the backs of poor people. So can I take it from you, Tánaiste, that the crusade of this government, but more astonishing, the Labour Party against people on low incomes is actually gathering pace? I want you to reverse that decision. I want you to tell this House that you will not continue to punish individuals and families who are only barely hanging on. And I would like you to do that. And I would suggest to you, Tánaiste, that the people who put you sitting in that seat opposite me expect you to do likewise.